Malacanang is pleased with the news of President Duterte's high approval and trust ratings. Presidential spokesman Ernie Abella says the results prove that the public is not easily swayed by political noise. Abella points out the survey was even conducted at a time when what he says was a demolition job against the president and his family was in place.
There seems to be timed, or whoever it's coming from. There seems to be some form of orchestrated information, disinformation that is in operation.
Abella says he'd rather not speculate in who may be behind the demolition job, but he says it's clear that they are out to discredit the president. Lawmakers are also weighing in on the ratings.
I have no doubt that the president can bounce back. I think maging klaro pa yung ninanais niya sa ating pamahalaan.
For Senate President Coco Pimentel, he says the results are accurate. Senator Sani Angara says public sentiment changes from time to time, just like what happened to other presidents. Senator Ping Lacson, meanwhile, pointed out the difference in the results of this Pulse Asia survey and another poll released early this week. A social weather station survey on Monday showed fewer Filipinos are satisfied with the president's performance. That survey was conducted from September 23 to 27. Now, how do Filipinos rate the performance of other top government officials? Here are the results from the latest social weather station survey. Data show Vice President Leni Robredo's net satisfaction rating stayed good at plus 41. That's up by 5 points since June this year. Senate President Coco Pimentel's rating also stayed good at a personal record high of plus 46 in September. This surpassed his previous record of plus 37 in the same period last year. Robredo welcomes the results of the survey. She says this could mean people are beginning to see the positive things she's done through different programs. Among those, her anti-poverty advocacy program called Angat Buhay.
Happy with the rise. Gustong sabihin, nararamdaman ng tao yung ating ginagawa. Gustong sabihin, parang accepted ng tao yung kabutihan na ginagawa natin despite the very limited resources. Malaking bagay din na nararamdaman na kasi lalong nagbibigay ito sa amin ng lakas at inspirasyon na lalong pagbutihin, lalong palawakin yung aming ginagawa.
For House Speaker Bebot Alvarez, his rating fell from moderate to neutral at a personal record low of plus 8. Same thing goes for Chief Justice Marilur de Sereno, whose rating also fell to neutral at plus 9. This is her lowest net satisfaction rating score since December 2015. They are ready to take the lead in the government's war on drugs. The agency admits the task is not easy as it needs additional manpower. Senator Leila de Lima is frustrated after the Supreme Court junked her bid to nullify her arrest. Her lawyers say the fight isn't over. And it appears a majority of Filipinos still trust President Rodrigo Duterte, while a separate poll also shows record low satisfaction ratings for the House Speaker and the Supreme Court Chief Justice. 2 days after she failed in her bid to nullify her arrest, Senator Leila de Lima shows up at a regional trial court for arraignment on another drug charge. There, she didn't hide her frustration over the High Court's decision to junk her plea. Our Anjo Alimayo tells us more.
A visibly thinner Senator Leila de Lima arrived at the Muntinlupa Regional Trial Court. She's been in detention for 8 months now. And she may stay there longer after the Supreme Court denied her bid to void her arrest.
Nakakalungkot lang na tila baga nagbubulag-bulagan ng mayoriya ng Supreme Court na panggigipit lang ito sa akin.
She's pertaining to the 9 justices who turned down her petition for lack of merit and upheld the jurisdiction of the lower court to hear her drug cases. De Lima says it's ironic that international organizations clearly see that the cases filed against her are all but part of political persecution.
Pinaka-importante, hindi ako hindi ko na tutupad ng maayos yung aking tungkulin bilang senador.
As far as her lawyers are concerned, the fight isn't over.
Hihingin ulit namin yung Korte Suprema ay mabigyan ng second hard look yung kanilang desisyon.
Former Senator Rene Sagisag also hopes that at least 2 justices will join the minority to overturn the decision.
Kung si Laila after winning, tumahimik o sumali doon sa partido Hunyango, hindi siya ngayon nakakulong ngayon eh.
The prosecution panel welcomes the High Court's decision.
We are also happy that the evidence which would support the allegation in the information on that particular case were sustained by the Supreme Court. The finding of probable cause remains.
However, De Lima's arraignment at Branch 205 was postponed because of her pending appeals. This after Judge Amelia Fabros Corpus denied her second motion to quash and motion to attend a Senate hearing on Kian de los Santos' death. Former Senator Rene Sagisag says De Lima's real crime is being critical of President Duterte on human rights issues, but is confident De Lima will be on the right side of history. Anjoli Mario, CNN Philippines.
PNP Chief Ronald Bato de la Rosa says he accepts President Duterte's decision to take the anti-drug campaign off their hands. Speaking to CNN Philippines, de la Rosa adds he cannot help but feel sad over the decision, but he considers this development a positive step.
Policemen ko man o yung mga drug personalities, still buhay pa rin ng tao yun. So, kuhan ba, yung, anyway, I just look at it positively, yung executive order na yun. Sabi siguro ni Presidente, masyado ka ng pagod anak, pahinga ka na. Ito, hindi natin magpaplastikan.
Sure.
Frustrated si Presidente sa naging reaksyon ng taong bayan. It goes to show na si Presidente hindi diktador. Na nakiramdam siya sa pulso ng taong bayan. Kung totoo man yun, granting na talagang totoong sentimento ng general public yung lumabas sa survey, sabi ni Presidente din, I am working for the Filipino people. So, ano yung gusto ng taong bayan, dissatisfied sila sa war on drugs, hinto natin itong war on drugs.
Catch the full interview with the PNP chief tonight on The Source at 7:30. Well, now that President Duterte has removed the national police and the helm of the drug war, the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency is facing a tall order. Is PDEA ready for this? Our Camille Abadisho finds out.
The Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency is stepping up its operations after taking over the lead in the war on drugs. The agency admits the task is not easy, especially with lack of manpower.
It will leave a big vacuum, especially on street-level operations. So unlike before, when PDEA used to focus only on high-value targets and high-impact operations, this time we will have to fill in the gap where the PNP left off.
The PNP has about 195,000 personnel, in stark contrast to PDEA's almost 2,000 personnel nationwide.
Malaki talaga ang contribution ng PNP because they have the numbers. They have the presence all the way up to the municipalities. And definitely, yung presensya nila, nandun, natutugunan nila kagad yung street-level pushing.
PDEA is planning to recruit 1,000 to 1,500 agents every year to fill in the gap. But this means additional budget, as training will cost 200,000 pesos per agent or 300 million for 1,500 agents. PDEA's budget is at 1.4 billion pesos plus 934.5 million pesos for additional facilities, equipment and manpower for 2018. But with their new role, PDEA says they would need more funds.
Kulang na kulang talaga. Dahil nga po, this was based on the premise that PDEA will focus on high-value targets and conducting high-impact operations.
While transitioning to a much bigger task, they would seek assistance from the PNP.
Mas konti na nga po kami. If we deploy on the ground and then we are doing the actual anti-drug operation and then hostile forces start firing on us and we get pinned down, who will help us?
We're ready to provide support to the PDEA, whether it's coming from the national down to the municipal level. When they need our support, we are working for the same government. So we will not deny them any of the assistance that we can provide them.
With over 76,000 anti-drug operations, the police produced 90% of the results of the drug war from July 2016 to September 2017. But the relentless campaign has a price. Over 3,000 drug suspects dead in police operations, while PDEA agents killed only 28 suspects. Camille Abadisho, CNN Philippines.
The reason for President Rodrigo Duterte's recent outburst against the European Union is speaking up. The so-called Progressive Alliance claims it is a group composed of more than 100 social democratic political parties and organizations all over the world. In a statement, Progressive Alliance says they are alarmed at the mounting cases of killings under President Duterte's war on drugs. The alliance adds they witnessed a war between social classes and political opposition and not a war against illegal drugs. Progressive Alliance adds they will keep a close eye on developments in the country and will take appropriate initiatives if necessary. Palace officials are clearing the air a day after President Duterte issues strong words against the European Union. They say there is no directive for the EU delegation to exit the country. Our senior correspondent Ina Andolong tells us more.
He cursed at the European Union.
My God, do it, stupid. Do it now. Paano sabihin sa Espanyol? You go.
And told its ambassadors to leave.
You leave my country in 24 hours. All of you.
But he was barking at the wrong tree. A day after the president's tirades against the EU, his spokesman clarifies his boss was addressing himself to the international delegates of the Progressive Alliance, not the EU, which the president thought was threatening to have the Philippines expelled from the United Nations because of the killings in its drug war. The 7-member delegation, which Malacanang says falsely claimed to represent the EU, called for an end to the killings and said the Philippines may risk losing the tax-free status of many of its products entering Europe. Ernesto Abella also blamed the media for causing the confusion. Trade Secretary Ramon Lopez says he too saw something wrong with the reports that came out.
Basically, he was reacting to what he was reading. Okay, he was reacting to what he was reading, and so it's not a question of being misinformed. That means to say he was being fed wrong information. But based on
kung ano yung nasa news. Frankly, kami rin eh. Ako when I saw that, but ito na naman to. Sino to? Kasi when we talk to the guys in the EU, hindi naman ganyan yung dating nila, yung approach nila eh. Parang tingin ko nga, somebody asked them to come over at manggalit eh.
For now, Malacanang is just taking back the president's directive, telling EU diplomats to leave.
there is no directive to do that.
As far as palace officials are concerned, all is well between the Philippines and the EU. The Trade Secretary met with EU officials last September to address any perception that may have been caused by negative publicity.
Kasi ano ba yung nare-release sa international media? De syempre, kung may balitang nanggaling dito, lalo na at that time, naalala ko, at the height of yung mga teenagers na mga namatay. So we were telling them na may mga ganong incidents na unfortunately nangyari, but our president, number one, we assured them na ang presidente natin ayaw talaga ng mga abuso na ganon.
The president has been made aware of the mistake, but no apology, at least for now. But Abella says a clarification from the president himself may be forthcoming.